Chris, you had some questions asked, so please ask away.
Yeah, look, we've been having amazing conversations around the behaviors, the traits that masculine leaders should be exhibiting on a daily basis. And one of those common discussion points has been around integrity. And to get a little bit vulnerable here, I was curious to know, because I've been exploring this for myself and I do a lot of self reflection around this, but where do you feel you might have been living out of integrity lately? And how,
Lately, okay.
yeah, or no, late, no, but lately, right?
Yeah.
And how is that affecting the people around you?
Okay. This is. I'm not sure if I should talk about this, but I'll do my best. I feel that I've been really out of alignment of the things that I'm really called to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it's been affecting me lately is I've been really struggling on the direction I want to take for my life. Because at one point I have lots of obligations, I have mortgage payments, spousal support, we have a wedding coming up. And then there's a part of me that's calling me to do bigger and more grander things. And I know I'm out of alignment of what I should be doing. And it's starting to really eat at my soul. Mm. And I know that sooner or later I'm going to have to make a decision or change course. And I do carry a lot, like, listen, guys, I'm not perfect. I have this, like, I'm a human being like everybody else. I have my own fears and I have my own insecurities, but I know that calling gets deeper and deeper. And I know I'm not living exactly where I should be living. And other than that, my life's great. Like I really am loving my life. It just, I know I'm called for a higher purpose. And it's hard because you make a decision based on obligations and a calling. Mm-hmm. And I know that if I follow my calling, everything will just happen because it's meant to be. Yeah. So that's where I struggle with my integrity right now.
What are you, Mike?
It's, I have to sit on this, for me, it's, almost similar to what Roy was saying. Like, I do believe I need to be taking some certain actions for whatever reason. I know the taking action would solve a lot of this feeling that comes from this, whether it's the self-doubt or the insecurity of knowing that, like Roy's saying, when you're not aligned, like I'll say it this way, I guess, is, I remember a few years back, I was going through and I was feeling really good because what I wanted to do, I was taking action on, and everything would fall into place. It was really incredible what would happen. Like, I wanted to do something and suddenly something came up that I used that was just, I was thinking about it. And then something else like that would happen. And for me, that's what I attribute to alignment. And because I haven't been taking action on something that's important to me, that I know I need to take action on, it slows down that whole process. It's not aligned anymore. It doesn't come as easily. It seems like you're walking through mud instead of, just on, nice grass, as an analogy to use. So that's where I think I'm lacking being connected in that way.
A lot of reflection on that one. I remain out of integrity in completing the book that I promised Pascal that I would finish. This is going on 8 years now. And it was one of these, it was deathbed promise. She was like, you got to get this done. And I was like, yeah, love you, honey. I'll get it done. And it's been, I came across an email from Joseph Ensign just recently of like, when are you going to fucking start doing things? Like, what, we are losing respect for you because of the fact that you keep on talking and not doing action. And the thing that since the beginning of the year, when I set my intentions on what were going to happen, and it was one of these places where it's like, okay, I got to get out of this lack of integrity. And a big part of it was having compassion for myself. I realized that, that there was this part of me that was like, if I don't write this, then she still kind of lives. But in the reality, I came to this thing that it was like, you know what? No, actually, she's fading more and more because you're not putting her story and her legacy out there. And so, there was that whole bit of compassion, and then that's moved into the commitment. And now it's like, there's the podcast piece that we've been doing. There is, the Speakers Bureau that I'm now a part of. There's the website is done. There's things that are starting to move on. Like, those commitments are there. And the big courage piece, and this is kind of relating back to, it was like, all these events came together to happen to allow you to be able to start your business. I'm at that point where it's like, okay, they were starting to take things on. And I remember there was this beautiful song lyric once that was, you've got to fall before you can fly. And it's like that, you've got to step off the safety and allow the acceleration to be able to get the wind underneath you to go. And that's where I'm taking my integrity at this stage. It was like, I realize I'm still out of it right now, but I'm making concrete steps towards it.
Beautiful.
What about you?
Yeah, well, for me, it very much has to do with that concept of pausing that we were talking about earlier, right? Where I know that in my life, when things are going well, or in general, I like to just create chaos, add more complexity, make things busier. And there's so much awareness around that. And I'm very focused on creating more simplicity in my life and removing the chaos as much as possible. But fuck, it just keeps happening. And the reason for that is because I'm not pausing enough. I'm not sitting in the stillness enough. My nervous system has been working a certain way for the last 35 years. Go, 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 tense, let's rock and roll. And that's where it's used to being. And I'm letting that, drive the ship. Whereas I recognize that if I could just relax, pause, slow things down, not everything has to move a million miles per hour all the time. And that's a big one for me, because there's a part of me that recognizes it so much, but it's just there all the time. And it keeps me out of integrity because it distracts me from my true purpose and the things that I want to achieve, and the people I want to help, and the version of me that I want to show up as, and the way that I'm showing up with my kids. I got so much in the go. Oh, the kids are asking me questions and I'm on my phone. And I'm like, geez, that 30 seconds, really? Did I need to do that? Right? But they remember that, and they see that. That's what they're seeing. That's not the version that I want them to see. But I created that chaos myself. So that's where I've been out of integrity for a long time. And that's the next piece of the Michelangelo that I'm chiseling away at right now for myself. But what I'm hearing in all of our shares is that we're all avoiding something.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the stress, that pressure comes from what we're avoiding.
I have a mentorship meeting on Mondays with some of my guys, and I said, what's the biggest fear you have? What's something you're scared to put out there, and you just keep putting it off? And most of them like social media. I want to do a series. When there's, okay, just go film it right now and just send it out. Yeah. And they're like, what? I'm like, just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. And it was like, they all looked at me like sideways. I just, trust me, just go and do it. Like, I know we all have this thing, and I think that you mistake momentum.
Yeah.
Like you think I'm creating momentum.
Yeah.
Right. I know. And we're not. You're not creating. What you're creating is, like you said, chaos.
It's chaos.
You just got to let things flow. And you know what? I totally understand when you, because it's like, you need to feel like you're busy because it makes you feel important.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're aware of it. You just have to turn that switch off.
Just gotta tone it down a little bit, dial
That's
it, take some pauses. And what's beautiful is that momentum, and I've clearly defined this in my new book, by the way. It's called Momentum by Design. I finished it. It's being released on May 26th.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
sir.
And
Congrats.
and,
And
and
let,
it's,
let us know they can get it too after.
yeah, but it's based on three things: energy, being in the right energy all the time, having clarity, no chaos, will create momentum. Energy, clarity provides momentum.
It's awesome.
Things that we've been discussing today.
Nice. My question, I will move it over here. If the next generation of boys became men by following the example we're setting today, would we be proud of the world they inherit?
I would say I would be proud because I think that the example that I've given to my sons lately has really helped them turn the corner. My oldest son, Tegan, he was always fearful, always angry, always resentful, always, you know, a victim. And we went to Japan for 12 days together, and that really kind of flipped the switch in him. And we had some really deep conversations. And I said, look, son, you know, you have a great support system. We love you. And if you're not loving your life, dude, like, I can't do that for you. You're going to have to decide to make the change. And he balled up, and he got a career counselor, took new courses, looking to get into management. Like, these are things that he really, really enjoys. Braden is just a big-hearted kid that can never make up his mind on anything. But one thing he is an awesome human being. And I think that if you just allow him to discover himself, he's going to be perfectly fine. And because they're two really good, solid human beings, I am very proud of what they're going to create. And if that's the life they're going to portray in the future, I have complete, faith that everything's going to be okay. And they don't have sons.
Well, no, I don't have sons. However, I have a potential son-in-law.
True.
That's working on, and I have nephews. I have neighbors. There's people I interact with and I have mentees at the same time. It's my daughter's partner is completely different culture. He's from Nigeria. Recent refugee, just got his PR status, his permanent residency status, which is like awesome from the standpoint of that it secures the family a little bit more now, and we don't have to worry about what if he gets deported, shit, right? Like, what are we going to do there? But it was a lot of that was as he was going through the process, it was like just, hey, like, regardless, you're a part of the family. It's, and to bring them in, I've just been working on just modeling behavior for him so that it's like things are different here than they are where you came from. And, you can be more open. You can ask for help. Originally, he just didn't want to ask me for help on anything. It's like, I need to be the man. I need to be able to do this. I don't need any help from anybody. I was like, dude, we all need help. We all do. And even with the neighbors, like a kid lives 2 doors down, and like Ben, I have been encouraging him to cut grass. It's like had him, it was sort of like, help me build my barbecue, do the other things, and like teaching him entrepreneurial things, like even down to one of the other neighborhood kids was like, oh, you're paying for him? Why don't I do it and you pay me too? And I looked at Ben and I said, he'll be your subcontractor. You figure out what you want to negotiate with him in terms of how much you're going to pay him out of what I pay you. And then you guys can figure it out if that's the way you want to do it. And you can just see Ben's like, I don't want to give up any of the money. I got to figure this out. And his dad came up to me later and he actually said, hey, that was really a good lesson. Thank you. Like that was, he's like really sort of had to think about this thing. So, these are just some of the things, and like just that whole bit of how is it that we can take the things that we have learned and impart them in a way that helps young men grow now, and do it through something that is action oriented as opposed to just me sitting there going la 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 at them. That's that would be my answer to your question.
Awesome.
I love that question. And the way that I think about it is, what type of masculine partner are my daughters going to choose in the future? And I'm recently separated, and for years I didn't show up in my relationship. I didn't show up for myself. I didn't show up for my wife. I didn't know how. Over the last 3 years, I've done a lot of work, and I see how I want to show up, and I've been showing up and taking action in different ways, and that did lead to separation. It led to separation. And I asked my oldest daughter recently, I said, sweetheart, how are you doing with the separation? And she looked at me, she said, Daddy, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that you and Mom get along and that you treat each other with respect. She says, I have so many friends whose parents are separated and divorced, and she's only 11, okay? And she's speaking like this. She says, would you believe that some of them, when they get dropped off at the other parent's house, like the other parent stays in the car, they never get out, and they just make them walk up the driveway. She says, you always come to the door with us, and you go in and you talk to Mom and you hug her. And so to me, I'm proud that they recognize that, because they see how important respect is in a relationship, no matter how difficult things are, right? And then when I look at the way that I'm showing up from a discipline standpoint, from taking ownership for my actions, leading them as best as I can, and nothing's perfect, right? What I hope is that when they go to select, their partner in life, that they'll choose somebody who shows up with a lot of those things, with strength, with power, with discipline, with respect, with love, who's funny, because I'm a funny motherfucker, all right? And then that's going to influence them. And I believe that there are other men out there who are raising boys like that, right? And that's how I feel about it. I feel really good about it.
Yeah, and for me, for the question, I posed, it touches on your ending, because I am going to be proud of the world they inherit, because if the four of us, for example, are making an impact through what we've talked about today, and the next generation of boys become men that are going to model some of these things that are important, then by osmosis, it's just going to become a better place, because you have more. You can't impact. You can only impact the ones around you, and then hopefully that builds out. And that's how you have a global impact, or really touching more people. It's one of the ways. So yeah, I would be very proud that the world that he will grow up in has a lot of these models and a lot of these types of men that understand what true masculinity means, and how they live their own lives.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of questions when we originally started out on this entire thing, and we've touched on pretty much every single one of them as we've gone through this conversation.
But ask it your way, because maybe you'll pull something else up.
But but one of the things that sort of hits me with this whole thing, a big part of being masculine is being accountable. It's accountable for your actions, in terms of how you treat yourself, how you treat other people, how you do your job. How is it that you lead at work? How is it that you lead in society? There is a certain accountability, and I don't believe that it is something that is innate. It's something that is like nature. I think it's more of a nurture piece than anything else. And so it's, how do we, as masculine leaders, as men that are going kind of against this grain of like it's like this whole thing of like the modern male should be totally in touch with their emotions and cry a lot and soft and do this, and and it was like, and it was like, no, you can't work out and the other things, and it was like, no, you're not measured by the size of your muscles for your masculinity. It's like, it's how much you can cry or your tats. And I'm just like, how is it that if you were able to do something to help people become more accountable as masculine leaders in society, what would that be?
Wow, that's really deep. And when I think about accountability, I think about shared accountability and how, yes, we can hold ourselves accountable, and that takes discipline, right? Because we have to make the decision to do the tough things, and holding ourselves accountable is a very tough thing to do sometimes. But if we want to help others be accountable, we have to share in that accountability. And the best way to do that is to create rhythms. Rhythms where, you know what, we're meeting on a regular basis to ensure that we've met the commitments that we've made for ourselves and for others when it came to what we wanted to be held accountable to. We as masculine leaders could, and you see this in Men on Fire, right? When you do the 75 hard,
Yeah.
when you do
Accountability.
partners, right? Where you're talking to each other every single day. And that's where communication and structure comes into play. You've got to have structure around it so that the accountability is there. If there's no structure, it's not going to work. So structured accountability, shared structured accountability is how I would approach it.
Thank you. Mike.
Come on, me or you? I'm going to take accountability in a different direction. And I'm going to talk about accountability of the actions already taken that created either betrayals or hurts.
Taking accountability for something.
Taking accountability for something, because I think that I struggle with that my whole life, and it does not create a very healthy relationship, and it doesn't carry a lot of great energy where you're at. And being accountable for your actions, your thoughts, your feelings is very important. And to understand that we never want people to look at us differently. We want people to love us and know us. We think they know us. But if you want people to really love you for who you are and be authentically you, you have to be able to take accountability for your truth. And we all fuck up. We all mess up. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. We're all human. And I think that lying about it and trying to say things that make people feel better instead of telling the truth so they can respect you and trust you, I think you have to get that is more important than the way the person actually feels. And listen, someone betrays you or hurts you or does something that you don't agree with is going to hurt your feelings. You're going to be angry for a bit. My question is, would you rather me tell you something that makes you feel better, or would you rather me tell you the truth? Most people say, I want the truth. Yes, I want the truth. But my question is, would you rather tell somebody else something makes them feel better, or would you rather tell them the truth? And you're probably saying, I can tell them to make them feel better. So you can't be a hypocrite on that. Like, just always tell the truth. And I know it's hard because we don't want to be seen differently. And I wish I had the courage and the tools, because when you tell the truth, you come from a place of love. I know I fucked up. I take responsibility. I know I should have been there. I should have never done that. And I know you trust me for this, and I don't want to break your trust. So I'm telling you the truth so that way you don't have to hear from somebody else. And I promise you that I will show up better next time, that I'm not going to do that. And allow them to respect you and maybe not like you at that moment, but they'll trust you and they'll love you. And I think that's a big thing about accountability for men is they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to feel like they're weak. They don't want to feel like they make mistakes. The only mistake you do is you tell a lie, backed by another lie, and then what happens is the person across you doesn't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't even know who you are yourself.
You lost yourself. So be accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
Be you. Where none of us are perfect. We're perfectly imperfect. We're here to learn together. And if, on the other hand, when somebody's becoming accountable for the mistakes they made, don't crucify them. Come from a place of understanding. Be open-hearted. Let them know that they hurt you. That's okay. But don't go off and call them names and how could you and all this stuff. Let them say their piece. Because innately, we all know when we betray, and we all know when we're being betrayed. Mm-hmm. So allow them to give you the grace that you can trust your instincts, that you can trust your intuition, you can trust your heart. So that's my point of accountability.
That's a great one. And it's it's a demonstration of a pure apology at the same time.
That's right.
You know, I fucked up. Here's what I'm going to be able to do to, rectify the situation. How are you feeling about it? How can we move past these particular pieces? You've just exemplified that through what you just said.
And I love how accountability can be looked at at different angles, right?
Yeah.
Taking accountability for your actions or holding yourself accountable to what might be.
In order to take action.
In order to take action.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, accountability, I think when I'm think about it, I think it's important if we're trying to help others be accountable for things that they may be doing is number one, you want to be accountable for yourself to be able to then in turn provide a space where they can acknowledge and take accountability. So I think, helping them feel like that they can share with you that, they've done A, B, or C. That's part of them taking their own accountability. But I would imagine they would have to feel safe enough to be able to talk to you about that or bring up something that's happened and ties into what Roy was saying. Then you can lead them and help them with, hey, you need to go and apologize or you need to acknowledge what you did in that part. And the same goes back to if you're always playing the victim. As an example, I can't believe this always happens to me. It's important to take accountability for what it is that you've done. Like you're not the victim here. In fact, this is probably happening and there's a very good, I call them God's winks that are in this mess. But you have to acknowledge and take accountability as to why you're always the victim, because it's typically not the case. So that's how I would look at it.
I want to add one more thing because you got me thinking about that, and it's when we don't take accountability for our actions, but we know we should. Oh man, that really messes with your energy.
Yep.
Right. But the moment that you find the courage to show up with integrity and open up about these things, it cracks open this part of you that just allows you to show up way better than you ever have in the past. It's like you have to just you gotta tear off the Band-Aid, right? But once you do that, it makes it so much easier moving forward to hold yourself accountable. It becomes part of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And there's just the whole thing that you were saying. It's that kind of gets back to the pause, right? If you're looking back and you're spending time with yourself and you're able to reflect back like, okay, this has happened. This has happened. This has happened. The only three different people. I'm the only common factor, and the results have been the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what's happening.
Self-reflection.
What's the force multiplier that's going on in this thing? It's or what's the subject in the force multiplier, and that's the whole piece. So that was beautiful.
Look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I gotta say, guys, this is an incredible conversation. I know we could talk about this for another 3 or 4 or 5 days. And listen, if anybody is intrigued or wants to reach out to any one of these gentlemen, Chris, how can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on any social media platform at the Chris Atwell. And if you're interested in learning more about my book, Momentum by Design, which is a leadership framework for manufacturers, rep agency owners looking to lead with clarity and scalable growth, you can find that at mindset-conquest.com.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Robert.
If you're looking to have people be helped as they are caregiving for cancer in their family, then you can reach out to me. The website is www.gripgritgrow.com. Facebook, Grip Good Grow. You know, I know you always find this one to be the tongue twister.
I got to spell it out phonetically for them on this. So don't worry about it.
You know, and there have been people that said like, couldn't you come up with something easier? And I said, actually, Pascal came to me in a dream and she gave me that. And that's,
you have to honor that.
And so that remains on it. But Facebook.
Can you go like ggg.com or something?
I've
like
actually
that?
done 3G is what I've been trying to pull out on it, but like, it's just like,
I'll help you with that. Don't worry.
yeah, we'll figure
But hey,
something
great.
out. And yeah, Great Grow. It's also Insta and Facebook as well.
Keep up the good work there, Robert.
Thank you.
And if you're looking for me anywhere on social as well, it's Miguel Diaz 26 or at DNALendingGroup.com or LinkedIn. You'll find me. I reach out. The host of the Integrity Project can track me down pretty easily. Reach out to this guy, and we'd get in touch. I'm happy to chat with you.
Thank you very much for bringing us into this space.
I've been looking so forward to this. Thank you, guys.
This has been awesome.
Thank you. Well, got a closing comment, guys. Also, this is the Integrity Project. You can find us on all social media platforms, on YouTube at the Integrity Project, on Instagram at RC Truth Academy, or you can find me on Facebook at Roy Coachillo. So a closing statement here. If this conversation stirred something in you, that's the point. Masculinity is not something we prove. It's something we refine. It's not about dominance. It's not about direction. It's not about control. It's about self-mastery. A true king does not need to announce himself. He is steady. He is grounded. He is responsible. He is present. Guys, this is Masculinity series at Integrity Project. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Love you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.